Howdy, Ags, and welcome to another episode of Behind the Number. Very excited to be back sitting down with good old CB, Carter Bajois over there. And our guest today, Henry Coleman. So you guys know him. So excited for you to be joining us today, Henry.
Yeah, thank y'all. This is a good opportunity. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'm excited.
So excited. They've seen a lot of me in CB this week. We've done an episode like every day.
Yeah.
We've done an episode of this like every day. But I say this every time we start. This is just very much so, I told you this beforehand, for people to get to know things that have to do with the athletic experience that people typically wouldn't recognize. So we have a variety of topics that we've hit on. We have had a variety of guests, and it's been really cool to give people a look into what the experience is like as a student athlete at Texas A&M besides just what you do for you on the court.
Besides what people see on TV every week, you know.
Yeah. And should we give my announcement now?
Oh, yes. This is Allie's last podcast.
Are you going to cry?
Yes. This definitely will miss this great co-host. This is her last episode, so shout out Henry being a part of the last one. This will be good.
I know, I'm excited. Like, sheesh, I got the last episode.
Save the best for last.
Save the best for last.
This was planned.
Full circle, Henry.
It is.
Henry and I were a part of an organization together, and now
Face
Mental Health. And now here we are.
Boom! Look at that.
But anyways, Henry, so excited that you're here.
Yeah.
And I know that these last few weeks have been a change of pace.
Yeah.
Before, this is kind of interesting, Carter. Every person we've had this week has been a transfer.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that is true. Interesting. And kind of at the end as well.
Yes.
Kind of been in that transition
Duke
period.
transfer.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah.
Dude, we haven't even talked about that really.
No.
But what does that look like? It was after freshman year, right? So what did that look like coming from Duke? What was your thought process? Why did you want somewhere else? And what brought you to A&M? Why was that the answer?
Yeah, so Duke recruited me hard right out of high school. You know,
from Virginia.
From Virginia, so not being too far. It's about a hop on I-95, and it's about an hour and a half drive.
Oh, not bad.
And so I was like, I mean, it's Duke. You can't turn Duke down.
Yeah.
You know, legendary coach, Hall of Fame coach. Hall of Fame arena, Cameron Indoor is truly unreal. You know, and so I really wanted to go there. And credit to all the guys, who were there. A lot of those guys went on to, go to the NBA, do some unbelievable great things. And it just didn't work out for me there. And so got in the portal. I actually got in the portal on my birthday, May 8th.
Oh,
which is
happy birthday gift.
That's coming up.
Yeah.
I know, it's like a great birthday gift, but also stressful.
Yeah.
It's like,
that's a big decision.
A lot of unknowns.
Yeah, a lot of unknowns on
a
my
lot of
birthday.
different feelings. Yeah.
And so, I'm going through that process, and Coach Williams was the first one to call.
Nice.
And he recruited me out of high school.
Okay.
Very hard when he was at Virginia Tech. My dad played for Virginia Tech.
Oh, really?
So growing up, I just wanted to football. Played football at Virginia Tech, and so I just wanted to go to Virginia Tech, and I didn't care what sport I played up there.
Nice.
Baseball, basketball.
So that was like your growing up.
Oh, that was my team.
Okay.
And my mom's gonna kill me because Virginia and Virginia Tech are rivals,
right?
And I never liked UVA.
Okay.
And so the house was split.
Did she go to UVA?
Yeah, she went to UVA.
Okay, wow.
And so the house is split. It's
That's
like my brother loved UVA.
Nice.
I loved.
You were a Tech.
Yeah, I was Coach
That's
Beamer.
like A&M and TU.
Yeah, it's like just like smaller rivalry.
Yeah.
Down here they
Yeah,
treat it a
it's
little
different
different.
Bigger
It's a little,
in Texas, yeah.
they treat it a little different.
That's
But
awesome.
so I really just wanted to go, there, and then Coach Buzz was the first one to call me, and
Nice.
he's like, Henry, I got 4 people on the roster. I was like, well, I'm sold. I'm going. And so I got down here, and it was all unbelievable. The staff, how they treated me, and the guys who were returning, Hassan Diarra, Quinn Jackson, Hayden.
Throwing out some names.
I know
from
some
my
old
time.
guys, some older guys,
Some
man.
dogs though.
Some really good players.
Yeah. Crazy.
Quentin was crazy.
He's unbelievable.
Yeah,
He's doing
so
well
good.
now.
Bro, he is. I always knew when he was here too. He was always bombing.
You know who I saw on the TV when we were at Pluckers for Carter's podcast that he does? When we were leaving, Dexter Dennis.
Oh yeah, because they won
He won the G League
the G League
championship.
Yeah.
And he really was probably player of the game.
Bro.
I think he had around
he
20-something
was on the
points.
TV, and I was like,
Is it
oh,
Dallas? Right?
No, Sacramento. He's in
Sacramento. Okay, he was in Dallas, right?
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Henry, when Buzz called you and you guys talked on the phone, and you said like you were sold.
Yeah.
Were you sold before you even came here? Or did it take a visit to like really?
No, I had known Coach and the staff for so long. I mean, Coach started recruiting me 8th grade, going into 9th grade year,
Wow.
and so our relationship before I even got here we already had like a true relationship, and so I trusted his philosophies. He was a man of faith. He was a hard worker. He was consistent. I was like, why else would I not go here?
Yeah.
And
So the staff was the same at Tech too? He brought over?
it was basically the same staff. And so I was like, why not go here? And when I got here, I realized how hot it was. Like, I remember stepping off the plane in Houston, just like, this is terrible.
Yeah.
When did you come for your visit?
I never had a visit.
So you committed it, really?
I committed a week before I came here.
Was it COVID or just because?
No, it just because.
Just felt right.
Yeah.
You came in
just
the
felt right.
summertime, huh?
Yeah, I came May 28th.
Okay.
So you entered the portal May 8th and you were ready.
Yeah, I was ready.
Dang.
Wow.
So, yeah, it didn't take long. I knew, like I said, Coach's philosophies and what they had here.
Right.
I wanted to build something here. There was not a lot left here, and so, I trusted him.
I remember when you came here.
Nice.
Yeah, it was,
I totally remember because I remember in Slocum, the old Slopes.
Old Slocum.
The old Slopes. I remember people were like, who is
great.
this dude?
Yeah.
Like, where did he come
Hard to
from? 'Cause
miss.
You're like,
Really
like
hard to miss.
6'5", however tall you are, and everyone was like, who is that?
Wait, how tall? You're way taller than 6'.
Yeah, like good 6'7".
Okay. I
Oh,
was about
my
to say,
bad.
I'm like, yeah.
Guys, I'm down here at 5'3".
Yeah,
Okay,
they
give
all
me
look
some
the
grace.
same.
Yeah. Everyone looks the same from down here.
6-something.
Okay, wait, that's really cool, Henry. That's very unique. What is it like? Obviously, you're at this point in time, I would consider you like a diehard Aggie for the basketball program and what you did here and what you guys did here. But obviously, your first career being at Duke for your freshman year, was it like interesting watching how they would perform, like even like this year and how far they went? Like, is that interesting?
Oh, it always is, and like seeing Coach Shire, like when I was there, Coach Shire was an assistant coach.
Oh, cool. Okay.
So seeing him get the head coaching job, young coach, a real consistent hard worker, eager coach, and wants to get in. So to see them, have success, it just speaks volumes to the coaching staff and what they've built over there for almost 50 years now.
Yeah, for real.
And so credit to them. I still talk to all my Duke buddies and stuff. So there's no hard feelings. But
cool.
watching them, it was kind of torn because I wanted Houston to maybe do something, and then I went to Duke, and so I like Coach Sampson a lot. I think he is an unbelievable coach. Like how he treats his players, how he goes about it in the right way. And so I was a little torn, but I wanted to, at the end I was like, I kind of wanted the Duke guys to win.
Yeah.
So
I had Duke winning.
That was a crazy game too.
Unreal.
The final two though.
Crazy.
I was not expecting any of that. I mean, the whole game, Houston was complete control.
Yeah.
Complete control. And then it just
It was weird. I mean, I would say that this year's Final Four was probably the best I've watched in a while.
And shout out to the committee.
Yeah,
I mean, it was, I guess you could say boring, people said, no upsets, but 4 number ones.
Henry, you should ask him who won our friend group bracket.
Who won the bracket?
She did. She did actually go. She was pretty spot on.
Yeah, but you want to know the funny part, Henry? This was my first time doing a bracket.
That was pretty impressive.
So, beginner's luck.
Yeah, beginner's luck.
Beginner's luck, and not only that, but also I'm not the most knowledgeable in that area. So people, we were talking about this, like any friends who actually really pay attention to basketball or people who do, when they do their bracket, they're like evaluating everything. For me, I was just going with my gut. I was
Picking
like,
the colors.
This one. Yeah.
Oh, I
That's
love
a pretty
this
color.
Yeah.
No, I'm more freaking sports
Sure.
knowledgeable.
Yeah. Well, you made my
whatever.
bracket, so that's why I lost.
Okay, I didn't make your bracket.
Well, you
I
and
made the
Callie
name
made
of
my
your bracket.
Yeah. What was it?
That's an after podcast conversation.
I had St. John's. I just believed in the coach.
Yeah.
But other than that, these ladies picked for me.
I mean, I did like St. John's, but I just thought like, I don't know, something about playing in the SEC this year, and you play.
Oh my gosh.
You play that competition
Henry.
night in, night out. I think it's just a little different.
SEC this season, crazy.
Everything.
Yeah, and everything.
SEC is insane.
SEC is always insane, but like this year for basketball, I feel like it was kind of an extreme.
No, it was
100%. Teams like that you don't normally see playing SEC basketball at this level. Are playing SEC.
What was that like? I mean, really went out with a bang.
I mean,
on that one.
On paper, statistically, it's literally the best league it's ever been. And like when you're going through it, it doesn't feel like, you know, it's the best competition. But then you start, like, I was hanging with, you know, the guys, and we start reflecting on, you know, games and stuff, and you're like, man, that was a hard game. We could have lost, you know, right at the buzzer, or we did lose at the buzzer. You know, so it's like all these games could have gone either way. Like, there are a couple teams that could have been, you know, on top seed in our league, but lost a couple times at the buzzer, and vice versa. There are some teams at the top that, you know, Tennessee had some games where they hit some last-second shots. Those 3 or 4 games they hit those shots, it could have gone the other way. They could have been in the bottom.
They're a different team.
They're a whole different team, and so can
we talk about you guys taking down Auburn?
Oh, that was so fun. It was good.
That was crazy.
It was awesome.
Crazy.
I don't even like.
Y'all always.
I was so shocked. Not shocked because of the result, but just shocked about the atmosphere and like what kind of happened.
Was that one of like the crazier atmospheres you feel like you've experienced? I remember this had to have been your freshman year when y'all played Kentucky.
Yeah, I was up there.
Here?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
And it was the whiteout game?
It was completely.
Right? Wasn't it whiteout game or blackout game?
Somehow I got on the court.
Yeah, it was.
Somehow. And nobody asked any questions.
Wait, you got courtside?
Yes. And nobody.
Carter, that doesn't surprise me.
No, but I didn't.
Bit.
It wasn't like a favor or anything. I just went to the court.
Still.
And
that doesn't surprise you.
Anyways, it was.
Adventure King.
Again, was. I mean,
found his way
I didn't get in trouble somehow.
There are a couple games that like I reflect on that were just crazy. Like that, I think it was.
That one was
2022, 2023, that Tennessee blackout game. Like a lot of people might forget that, but that game was like,
yeah,
we were.
That was my senior year.
They were ranked high, and I think they were 5 in the country or something.
Yeah, always do that, bro. Those are if it's a top 5 opponent and there's some color involved, I'm at the game. I'm at the game.
Wait, but I hate to bring this up, but didn't you guys lose to Kentucky that game though?
Yeah, we did.
But it was one that it was like 3 points.
Yeah, it was back
the whole
nobody was making threes, and it was
literally ping pong.
We were 1 for 29 from 3.
Bro, that's why, because we left, and I'm like
crazy.
And we're still in the game. Like, think about that.
Crazy.
You hit 1 or 2 more threes.
I remember that.
Crazy.
I remember that.
It's crazy.
So, something new this season that you experienced was obviously playing TU. Was that like up there in the memories for you, or not?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just because we hadn't played them yet. Like that, the rivalry wasn't. It was still a rivalry. Don't get me wrong, but it just was like it wasn't that big of a rivalry for us. I think it's just because we hadn't played them yet.
Yeah, that's fair. It's also like you, aside from like obviously them being the known rival here, in every respective sport, you have some rival. And every sport looks different. Like soccer, one of our rivals was Arkansas.
Yeah, ours is USC. Because we always get in fights with them.
Yeah. It's like every sport has their
that's true.
rival.
And like you're right, because y'all personally don't have any rivalry with UT because nobody here has played UT. That's fair.
And what's crazy, like you actually like know a lot of those dudes. Though. Like you played against them in AAU, travel ball. So like it's not like a beef with them. You know, it's like
people wanted to be too.
Yeah, they wanted to be, but it's like you're kind of just like, oh, it's just a basketball game. Like I know that dude. Like we're about to go at it. Like it's not.
Yeah.
But it was fun though.
Yeah.
I still loved playing them. I thought it was a good time.
The crowd's crazy.
The crowd.
But I mean, maybe in 4 years to that same point, it'll be a bigger rivalry.
I think so.
You know, we'll build that 4 years of constant.
The more, yes,
you know
it has to just reestablish.
Yeah, because y'all don't have that tie mix.
Yeah.
Especially if it's going back and forth too. Like we sweep them this year, and they come back next year, win 2, and we, you know. So like, if it kind of builds off of that, then I think it'll be
4 years down the line.
better.
It's 50-50. It's a big game on the line.
Huge game.
Yeah.
Okay, Henry. Before I get into my next question, I do want to tell you that you did incredible things in your career here that stretched far beyond
off
the court.
For sure.
Truly, I think that. I'm going to sound like I'm giving my speech at the Legacy Awards. It's so embarrassing. But the word legacy is like actually a thing. And how you choose to leave
real life.
It looks different for everybody. There's people who only care about leaving a legacy with how successful they were in whatever sport that they did. But it stretches far beyond just those things. And like I said, you did great things on the court, but your legacy really reached beyond just that.
Yeah.
And so, I did want to ask you a question about basketball, but before that, let's talk about everything that you were able to do in your time here that you are really grateful and thankful you were able to get the experience to do.
Yeah, well, we mentioned it earlier about face. Like I thought like that idea of having a panel of, college athletes and talk to not only other college athletes, but students around campus to hear their testimony, their stories. Like, none of that gets told.
No.
And so I thought, when we came up with Face, Laney, Haley, you, Max Wright, like having those people in it and just being able to talk and share, what we've gone through. I thought it was special, and I didn't see it on any other college campuses. I know there's probably stuff now, but like for us to start off in doing that and see how it's grown over the years.
Yeah.
At the
really
Legacy Awards, and you
itself.
see, you said stand up if you're in, a club this year, and you see all those people from Face stand up. And so that just makes me feel good because we left a real legacy on that.
Yeah.
And so, then sitting on the SEC panels, that changed my life, honestly. Like, I always tell the story. I go in there my first year, and I'm just, a new kid. There's like 4 people there, and there's all these coaches and all this. And, I sit down with Coach Buzz, and, I look over. I'm at a table with Lane Kiffin, Coach Buzz, and Shane Beamer. I'm like, what have I got myself into? This is like unbelievable. People dream about this stuff.
Right.
And so going to there and talking about, mental health and NIL and transfer portal, and being a student athlete who's in it. Like, I'm in, I've gone through the transfer portal.
Yeah.
I've been fortunate enough to have NIL. I've talked about mental health. So to do that, and then sitting on the NCAA committee was a ton of fun. It's a different insight than, the SEC. It's kind of a broader, thing. And so just doing all that. And for me, it was kind of like my parents just always said, like, just put your best foot forward. Like, you're not just an athlete. And I kind of wore that, the chip on my shoulder. I feel like you guys have done an unbelievable job of that too. Like, not just athletes, you guys have been able to, do other things. And so I just want to leave a legacy, not only for people at, athletes at A&M, but also back home, some people at high school.
Yeah.
And so just be able, like, you can be an athlete, you can be a student athlete, and you can still branch out and do, a plethora of different things.
Yes. You know what? My mom had told me at one point in time, we had a lot of talented girls on the team my freshman year of college, like crazy talent. There's a handful of them that are still in the league right now. And my mom, it was interesting because come senior year, when they would come back, there was people who had no idea who they were.
Yeah.
Or sophomore year, junior year, senior, like people didn't know them. And it was fascinating because they had done so many incredible things on the field and left a legacy in that regard. But my mom was telling me at one point, she's like, think about it. When you come back here, years down the line, people aren't going to remember how many goals you scored or whatever. No, they're going to remember the impact that you made on the people there.
How you made people feel.
How you made people feel, other things that you were able to do. Face is one of those things. Like, it really is cool when you're able to shift that perspective when you're actually in it and then change your focus to things far beyond just your sport and just the performance aspect. And also going off of like the mental health piece of things too, we were in college athletics in a really unique time period.
Crazy.
Tough time period.
In a tough time period. And it's very interesting to think about how there was such a lack of awareness to the areas of mental health and how it really, like, it affects all people.
Yeah.
But the student athlete experience can look different in that regard. And it's really fascinating to think about the lack of awareness that was there literally even like before my freshman year, before COVID. COVID was a massive changing point in that time, and the year after COVID. But people actually bringing awareness to it. And it's really special that we were able to be a part of that time period where the change did happen. Because I at least can say for myself, that has now changed how I have outlooks on life and the people around me.
For sure.
And so that is really unique that we were able to experience that, all three of us in our careers
what
here.
a crazy experience.
Yeah.
It is cool. But back to what you were saying about, people coming back and, like, of course basketball fans will always remember what you did on the court, but seriously, people will always remember stuff you did. Like we were talking about before the episode, stuff you do off of the court is 100% remembered longer than what you did playing basketball, and you've done a very good job, bro.
Yeah, you have. And I feel like everyone knows that about you.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's the biggest compliment I hear about you.
Yeah.
Like,
seriously.
if we're ever in the same room, like, which we found ourselves in a lot, like, it's as good and impactful as you were on the court. You know that. Yeah. But the stuff I hear is, I'm telling you, people talk about more, oh, yeah, Henry was doing this. Henry did this, this, and this for this. Like,
yeah. Also, people talk about how intellectual you sound when you speak.
Yeah.
People have said that, from the jump of you getting here. I remember people talking about that when they would hear you like speak about the game in press conferences and stuff like that, which is another thing. It's not always the easiest thing
that's one thing people do not tell you when you're in high school. Like, you still have to do a press conference after you lost. Like people, no, that's one thing. I swear. Because when you're watching like the NBA, I only ever see like when LeBron won. Right. Like, I'm like, oh, LeBron, he's talking. Yeah, he was giving credit to, to Kyrie. But nobody shows, SportsCenter doesn't show the loss.
Yeah,
no.
And they still report it. Huh?
Yeah, and so you're like, that's one thing. I remember when I first got to college, I was like, shoot, I still got to. Somebody's got to do it, and we used to look around the locker room, man, and you're like, man, we just lost.
Who wants to talk about
us losing and how we just lost? Like,
I get the want for the raw emotion, and that can only come with a certain time after. But it's like also, you know what I'm saying? That's not easy to go talk about, and you got to filter things because you are in the raw emotion. Like, I'll be pissed after a meet. I'm not gonna they don't want me speaking after a bad meet. Like, I will get in trouble.
Wait, I have a question for you guys. Do y'all like the feeling of winning more than you hate the feeling of losing? Which one's more?
I'd say it used to be different for me. Like in like middle school and high school, it was like the winning feeling was just like what you wanted. Like in high school, I just wanted to win. And I still do now, but it's also like I think there's more consequences when you get to college when you lose. And so I think it's like, it almost flipped for me because unless you win a big game, everything else is kind of expected. You got a good team, like, and so like if you're playing a certain school and like even in the SEC, you're supposed to win that game. Right. But if you lose that game,
that makes sense.
It's a lot like there's more consequences.
There's more weight to it.
There's more weight to it. And so I think for me, it definitely shifted once I got to college.
I can't answer that.
And I would agree. In high school, I loved the feeling of winning. But at this phase of my life and because of my career, I hate the feeling of losing more than I love the feeling of winning.
That's difficult. It's really hard for me
but I think it's because when you win, obviously it's an incredible feeling, but there's almost that sense of like the job's not done. Like there's still more, right?
I think it's expecting too, because like if I went, anyways, continue before I answer. But
when you lose, that feeling,
that's terrible.
Sucks. Yeah, that feeling sucks, and it's like it stretches far beyond sports. Anyone who's a D1 athlete or has been, all of us has been.
Former.
We're not ready for the title yet.
No, but I feel like it's the competitive nature is instilled in you. Yeah. Like that is one thing why companies
across all platforms
love hiring former student athletes because you have that competitive nature instilled in you. And I think that feeling of losing when you have a competitive nature tears you up.
Oh, it does.
And it stretches far beyond just the field, court, whatever. If I lose in my life currently in other facets of my life that don't have to do with soccer anymore, I get so angry at myself.
Yeah, I think that's same. It's interesting because I'm trying to think about in high school that y'all brought up. Like track in high school is interesting because if you're going D1 in track, like theoretically you're not losing ever. Yeah. If that makes sense. Like there's like 5 million track athletes in high school or something crazy. And it's like, same in y'all sports, 1% or something goes or something like that. But like, so theoretically, unless you're, you go to state or you're surrounded like in Texas in the 100-meter dash, you could be 6th and you're going to A&M or something crazy because they're just that deep. But like in a field event, like pole vault, for example, like Jack Mann, pole vaulter on the team, he jumped 17 feet. Nobody in Texas is going to do the same thing. Or like you jump 7 feet in high school. Theoretically, you're not going to lose until you get to college because it's such a discrepancy kind of. So like I think winning was different in high school and it was definitely the expectation. So like if I were to lose, I think that would be pretty brutal. But coming to college, I was thinking about this very hard when y'all were answering because it's kind of challenging. But I agree. Winning is the expectation. And the only reason I was torn to the answer is because winning feels so good because it's the accumulation of everything you do. Yeah. Like, sleeping. You're saying no to this. You're saying no to this. You're saying no to things to say yes to this. And the yes to this is normally for your sport. And so the winning, especially in a sport like I think for mine, for example, like high jump, like we were talking about this the other day, but you only feel it like very few times.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the season is a process and a lot of it's building. And like we were talking about this the other day, but like you fly to Oregon, my guys are in Oregon right now. Like a lot of those guys are going to be at a short approach or they're working on this. So like they fly all the way to Oregon just to basically have a practice in the meet. And it's like, this is building. So then when you do win, it is the accumulation of so much. And it's like, that feels pretty good. But also losing when that is supposed to be the win is pretty terrible.
I think, but for you, I don't watch track that much, but I watch the Olympics a lot.
Yeah.
But like that margin is so small.
Tiny.
Too, I think with our sports, it's a little bit.
It's
I think that's what it is.
You got 90 minutes to make it up.
It's
this is
I got 40.
Henry.
That 1 centimeter could mess you up. You're on the false start. You're kind of done.
Or you false start at the Olympics and you've been training for 4 years.
Yeah, like that
Henry,
part.
Carter made a point about his specific event the other day, but what did you say about how your sport ends every time?
On a miss.
It ends on a miss.
Every single day.
Because he's like
it could
trying
be the greatest day ever.
but it still ends on a miss. Isn't that fascinating? Because never in our sport have we had to think about that.
Yeah.
Well, because there's stuff that leads up to it. We shot free throws bad.
Right.
We didn't box out. Like that leads up.
Yes.
To that right there, that margin is so small.
The reason it is like a painful loss sometimes is just because it's to one, like it's directed at one thing. It's like I literally didn't.
Yeah.
A certain whatever. It's like damn. It's kind of silly, honestly, how serious we take it. And that was my biggest maturity growth. Like it's just like a lot comes with it. But I'm just jumping over a fiberglass pole. Like, it's not that, like, you know what I'm saying? It's really a whole lot comes on it, and a whole business has been created over this ability. It's fine, but it is silly. So it's like, you don't really need to, it's just funny. But it is funny because you can credit or discredit your loss or win to a single moment, which can be,
that's crazy.
Which could be interesting. But the win of that, like the opposite feeling of like when you succeed in it, it's like, that 1 second, it's like something you'll never feel again. But it's interesting. It's cool to compare to sports.
It is.
It's interesting.
And like ours are different, but they're more similar to each other than Carter's.
For sure,
Okay, Henry, I do have a question for you, and I don't mean to bring up like the raw emotions of things because I know it hasn't been all too long. But your last game that you were able to experience.
Yeah.
How was that, like, that process of acceptance? When the game ended, did you understand that it was your final game competing as a college athlete and at A&M? Like, how long did that take to actually grasp? You can answer this question, too, if you please, because you're obviously fairly done recently.
I don't think it still hit me. I think because you're still in College Station, I still talk to all the coaches. I still talk to all the guys. I think it's whatever you do next, that next step. Once you leave here and you're somewhere, you've maybe never been, or you're returning back home, that's where I think you kind of feel the emotion of like, dang, that's really in the past. I can't redo any of it. And so I think for me, I just like, I still really haven't felt the true emotion of, dang, I just played like kind of my last game. And so, obviously it was emotional, and I think the loss hurts. It tore me apart. But it was the loss of not being able to play with the guys anymore. That's the part that
that
gets me every time.
That's the part that I can tell you this 2 years out, and that's, if there's one thing I miss, it's being with the girls every day.
And it's like my whole 4 years, like you look back on it, you're like, I didn't cherish, playing with Boots, I didn't cherish, playing with Dex or playing with, so you kind of start unfolding all these things, and you're like, man, I would love to go run a suicide right now at Wade. It's just like, but in the moment you'd be like, wait, we got to make this suicide, dude. We're done after this. And so, but like, I'd love to go do that again. And so that feeling of not being able to do those things with the guys, I think is more painful than the loss.
Yeah. I feel like that perspective, though, on what you're talking about is it can take certain situations in life to be able to actually like appreciate the moment. And so since you're able to feel that way, hopefully now when you enter into these new chapters of your life, you're able to apply that there. So like if something is not the most fun or what you're with new people.
One day I'll miss this.
One day I'm going to miss this. So let me cherish be where your feet are.
Facts. And you're
Big
right.
thing.
Because you can only learn backwards. You know what I'm saying? You can't be in that moment running suicide, or you can't expect yourself in that moment running suicides to be like, oh, well, damn, in 3 years from now, I'm going to be talking with CB and Allie about how I need to be, like, you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta learn backwards, and then like I said, you gotta carry it forward.
Also, I told Carter this after his career. This is when I'm saying this and I'm gonna sound like such a mom, but this is just, again, my own experience of it.
Auntie.
But when you finish your career, you've had a relationship with that sport for however long.
Yeah.
It's the most synonymous to a breakup when you finish it. What happens in a breakup? You go through a grieving process. Same difference as when you finish your sport. It is 1000% a grieving process, and that means it's not linear. That means there's no correct way for things to come about. Like you saying that you haven't really had like acceptance of it yet, that's a piece of grieving. Maybe you've cried about it, maybe you haven't. Maybe that will come, maybe it won't. That's a piece of grieving. Like this is a very unique time period, and there's no dead set end date on it. And not only that, it's not just gonna look like this. It's not. And it's fascinating because until you actually go through it and you kind of reach the part of, okay, like I think at this point in time, I'm pretty healed from the end of mine. But when you do get to that point, you really are able to recognize like, dang, I did go through heartbreak for that because I dedicated so much time, energy, love, decision-making, like so much goes into it for so many years of your life. Like it's not a 4-year thing. No, for me personally, it was 18. Like it wasn't a short-lived.
Same to me.
Because right now, like you've closed the chapter of your collegiate career, but you also closed the chapter of a sport that you've probably played
countless times, so many
since you were a kid.
A
kid. And so it's been something that you have loved for that long.
That's a good point. It's been more than 4 years.
It always is. It's just interesting because I think when the career ends, it's easy to think about it. Oh, my collegiate career's done. But no, like unless you're going to play pro, which not all people have the opportunity to do, you are saying goodbye to like the elite competitive level of your sport. And hopefully you can like play with your kids one day and all that stuff, but it's different.
Dunk on your kids.
Yeah, that's over with.
Dunk on the kid. Yeah, they're done though.
I like joke with the guys. I was like, I probably would be the best LA fitness player there is.
Bro, bro, we gotta. I've been telling Nanny we gotta go hoop because we go to Crompton or something.
Yeah, we can go.
People.
Yeah, we can go out there. We can go hoop for real.
Wait, Henry, now you really should just pull up one day.
We should go to Crompton and we should bring Dak and all these guys.
Is that the one over there?
Yeah, the outdoor court.
Yeah, that would be crazy.
That's the rec.
Nah, do you know Dak, my buddy? He has the highest vertical ever recorded, and so he's 5'10", so like you wouldn't really think it, but bro, he was my roommate here.
Isn't he like? You've probably seen.
You've seen him on his Instagram, but
you've probably
he plays slam ball now. But bro, we go to Crompton, full court lobs. He's double East Bay and reverse dunk on people. And
I won't be doing all that, but I'll start shooting a couple.
If we get a team together, we could go.
Yeah. It is just really crazy how quick time goes by. But then the time period afterwards, it's this, again, I feel like I say this like I'm so much older than you guys, and I'm really not. But I didn't take my 5th year. So in like timeline.
So you were 4 years here?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, y'all are the same age.
Yeah, 4 years and then 1 year at Duke. So I was 5. Long time though.
5 years. Long time. Long time. This is just a very interesting period.
No, it is. We're in a very similar boat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Who were people you played with at Duke?
Jamin Brakefield, who plays at Ole Miss. Mm-hmm. Mark Williams, he's on the Hornets. Jalen Johnson, he's on the Hawks. DJ Stewart, I think DJ's on the Bulls, if I'm not mistaken. Wendell Moore, he's on the Pistons.
Dang.
Joey Baker.
I have a very high NBA rating.
Jeremy Roach, who's at Baylor. trying to think of some other guys. I'm probably missing some people.
Was it pretty crazy to be just a part of that?
Oh,
Just
for
like
sure.
Duke basketball, like you.
Yeah, it's like
that's quite the.
It's the mecca of like
Bro,
college
it
basketball.
truly
Like,
is.
they treat that like, I mean, it is the mecca.
And the coaching.
Oh, the coaching, Coach K. Like,
what a blessing to just be a part of for a minute.
I reflect on that all the time. Like, you know, I didn't play a lot there, but like the stories and the lessons that I learned from Coach K.
Offered by Duke though.
Yeah, I mean, I can tell you right where I was. I was in Birmingham, Alabama. I had just played my last game for 17U against Atlanta Celtics. Crazy thing is, I actually had played Andy that game before.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was playing for Atlanta Celtics. And so I'm sitting in there in the airport, and I get a call, and you know they offer me, and I'm just like, you're almost speechless. Yeah. It's like, I don't know how much you can. it's like an Alabama offer in football.
Yeah, it sure is.
Let's share our like when we got the initial. The coach wanted to
first ever or A&M.
First ever.
First ever. My first ever was A&M, but
okay.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't.
Tell the story.
But I'll tell my A&M one.
Okay.
Because the other ones happened. It was interesting, guys. When I started getting recruited in like 7th or 8th grade.
That is nuts.
Well, that's so soccer,
different.
Though.
Soccer.
I feel like
they changed the rules now, though.
So
you can't be recruited until you're older now. Which thank the Lord that they did that because
it probably saves a lot.
Kind of crazy.
I made a decision to go here when I was 14.
What?
I didn't know.
14.
I didn't even know that.
I didn't.
Yes.
See, you don't hear about that.
By the time I came, it was for
the decisions I was making when I was 14.
Yeah, I was still back in the real
exactly.
lunch. I was straight ham and cheese
Yes.
and a bag of Lay's chips.
Oh my gosh, bro! I was doing
so
crazy stuff.
7th or 8th grade, you would go to these things, these competitions. They were called ECNL, Elite Clubs National League. You go to the tournaments. College coaches would be surrounding the fields to watch. So they could email your coach at your club, and that's how they'd communicate. Yeah. They'd like almost like use your coach at club as a middleman because you couldn't talk to them directly. It was illegal. So there were some places that had reached out to me in that time, but A&M. I obviously am from Katy, Texas, so it's not like
ain't that far. You
Aggie family too. You know, family went here, but I came for a soccer camp. I had come after 7th grade, and then I had come after 8th grade before my freshman year of high school. And G, again, he can't really like talk to me all too much, but he went up to my mom at the end of camp and was like, "We want her to come on a visit here." Wow. So this was probably in June or July, and I came on a visit in September of my freshman year of high school.
At 14.
At 14. I was on a visit with girls who were a year older than me. I'll never forget, we ended up playing in college together, so it's actually really funny. But with girls a year older than me, and I was the first person in my age group to commit to play college soccer, like in the U.S.
Yeah,
really?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at 14.
And I verbally committed when I was here.
Dang, Al, that's nuts.
Yeah.
On the visit?
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you end up going?
Such a good question. I'm still figuring that part out. So it was G going up to my mom. That was like the initial thing, but it was different because you guys were older, so y'all could get phone calls.
Oh, that day is terrible.
Dude,
oh my gosh. I remember, so I don't know what time, like the exact date, but there is a date where, you know, college coaches it was always during the NBPA camp. Like the NBA puts on a camp every year for top 100 players. So it's like, I think if it's a week long, it's like on a Wednesday or something. And at midnight, those colleges can start texting you and calling you. God. So like, you're also at a camp with 100, you know, really good basketball players, top in the country. And so the next day, you just hear all the guys like, man, who texted you? This team texted you.
Crazy.
And so like you wake up, if you're a top 100 player, you probably woke up with 30 schools texting you. And so it's a weird feeling.
And
that you're in an environment like
I know
Harrison and all like
but then you start building these relationships with the guys like yo man, like in a year from now, like you recognize them from the NBPA camp, y'all are on a visit.
That is cool, yeah.
Like I remember NBPA camp, I was with Jabri Abdul-Rahim, he ended up going to UVA, but you know, UVA recruited me hard, and him and I talked about, you know, all of us going to UVA, and that relationship started at the NBA.
Okay, so like that's a cool way.
You'd be surprised at how many of those relationships are built there. Just guys being like, who texted you, man? And you're like, oh, A&M texted me. They texted me too.
Nice. That is,
Set up a
I see
visit,
the point. I see the point.
It's actually turned out to be really good.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That process though, but that recruitment process,
stressful.
oh boy, it's a long one.
It's pretty crazy. Yeah, mine was wild too.
And the thing is, I feel like I was blessed to actually do it before NIL. Because when money comes into an equation, your whole paradigm shifts.
Oh my gosh!
You're not even thinking about the
wrong things.
It shifts to the wrong things.
No, you're not thinking about that school. Like what I made the decision to A&M and Duke based off no money.
Yeah.
Like when I got to A&M, there was no money.
Yeah.
Like when I was at Duke, no NIL. So like my decision was, I wanted to go to Duke, Coach K, great school. Hall of Fame kind of
correct reasons.
A&M, Coach Buzz, really good coach. You start learning about the Aggie Network. You start learning about, all this stuff. That was my decision. That's what I want to do. But I couldn't imagine, like, basing my decision off A&M gave me, $1 million. This school gave me $1.2 million.
No.
And I don't even care about the school. Like those people.
Yeah, it takes it away.
It makes the college experience difficult. And so I think I'm glad that I got in before NIL, because I know even for myself, I can't say that I wouldn't have made a decision based on.
I mean,
also,
bro,
guys,
you see
I'm
a
going to
dollar
run
sign
real quick to the
18?
restroom and I'll be back.
Okay. You see
Carter, you tell your story.
Okay. But I mean, you're 18, you see money. You've probably never had $1 million.
No.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you see more here, even if it's a school you may not have considered fully, you start considering it.
Like, I can't imagine, like, my dad used to give me and my brother a little allowance. It was like $50 or something like that. And so, I mean, and at that time, I used to save up so I can, maybe next week, I'm not going to spend any money, so I can get $100.
Right.
I got 50, I got $100. I can't imagine, somebody recruited me. I'm in my junior year of high school or something, and they're like, hey, Henry, I want you to come. My NIL package for you is $700,000. What, man?
You go from 50 to 100 to a 700,000.
Man, I'm trying to tell you, my decision making would have been bad. And I think right now with college athletics, I think that's a little problem.
Bro.
It's dangerous because it not only hurts the school and the person, but man, it hurts. There's a lot of people that get hurt involved too. The families that get hurt. The coach's family that they promise this kid all this money and then this thing happens. And so I think
it's hard.
They got to figure out what this NIL thing
They do, and it'll probably slow down at some point. It's kind of crazy, but I mean, because it's like when you go pro, you enter the draft, you get drafted, you don't really have too much of a choice. Yeah. It's kind of getting like that. Yeah, like we're skipping the point that we have a choice at because you see dollar signs, and then you have if you get $700K, guess how many friends and family are gonna start? I'm with you.
You meeting people you ain't never met.
We're not tight. Like you know what I'm saying? But now then you got people in your ear. You make the wrong decision. It's just dollar signs. It's not schools. It's not morals. It's not Aggie. Aggie spirit. It's not a tradition at Virginia. It's not all this stuff. It's not a winning program. It's money. And it's dangerous. I mean, man of faith, you understand biblically, like we chase the wrong things, you get the wrong outcomes, and that is the wrong thing to chase. And it has become, what a blessing it is, but it has become the wrong thing to chase. And I'm with you. I'm glad it was before NIL. Now, track NIL is not like basketball or football, but it's still like it's a decision process. Like you said, it's more money than I had in high school. So it's like nonetheless, but it's interesting. And I hope people are still making decisions for the right choices because it's really giving a lot of leverage to people. Like, think about a school, I mean, maybe not too many people will go to, and then now they have a large alumni network they can offer NIL. Like, that school becomes part of the discussion now. It just adds a whole lot of variables.
So there's so many variables that you almost can't count.
No, you can't.
So I think, I'm all for players getting paid for sure. I think there's a no doubt. I think
look at what you do to the arenas and the stadiums, and like that's fair.
Yeah, but I do think there needs to be a process in which, you can't. I don't know about like offering people straight out of high school this amount because it not only because then that kid next year typically if he doesn't have the best year he's probably out. He's going to transfer.
That's what I was going to say too. Is I mean, I missed like majority of what y'all are talking about with NIL too also, but they should do something. A lot of schools should implement something where it's like you get incentives for certain things. Like you're not offered this lump sum right off the jump, but hey, if you do X, Y, and Z your first year here, incentives will
Facts.
come.
Because if you just give $2 million, $8 million, $500K, whatever it is, doesn't really matter if you go have a bad practice or bad game, because you still got your portion in the front yard. You still got all this, and it's like, man.
Yeah. But the people that are fortunate, like, I think the thing about this place that athletes are really lucky is you have a donor base and a fan base who wants to pour their resources into that. But not only that, if you come here, you're coming to a school that, like, you would have benefited so much off of if NIL was not.
Regardless.
Yeah.
This is still the best destination, and we have not, our NIL has not corrupted what we truly are, which is why we're still very special. But other schools, I don't think you can say the same. Like, it's corrupted thought process of it. At least, like, that, it's, you know, you can't put a number on A&M's experience. We know that.
Oh, you can't.
And the NIL has not changed that, and that's great. But other places as a whole, it's been challenging.
I also think that, like, what nobody talks about is, like, the resources that A&M has provided. Like, you walk over to the new academic center, and there's a podcast room. There's people available to help.
Cool.
There's people available to help you out with NIL. And I can't say that other schools have the same opportunity.
Yeah.
And so even if you had, like, a simple question, you know, do I take this deal? I've done this with, you know, with the compliance people. Like, can y'all look this over for me real quick? Like, is this a smart deal? Is this available? Should I do it? And so I don't know how many schools are that open to helping people. And so I think A&M is, that's a partial reason why A&M nothing's really happened, because there's real resources for us athletes.
Guys, also everything else that comes with it, tutors, the food.
Yeah.
Now, I had a lobster roll yesterday. I'm like,
a lobster roll over there?
Yeah, 2 of them, too. Because I'm like, I'm going to have 2.
Make it 3.
I'm like, matter of fact, give me another one.
I haven't experienced the new Clark.
Oh my
But even
gosh.
Slokes.
You've experienced the to-go.
Yeah.
But you got to get the experience inside.
The
but you know
hibachi
what?
station.
It's crazy.
Whatever
a
it is.
circular hibachi station, you can go get scallops.
Yeah.
I can make a coffee, get a homemade smoothie, and touch scallops in the same 30 seconds. They shouldn't go together.
Your stomach gonna hurt.
They shouldn't go together.
Good.
But honestly, the biggest flex that I've noticed this year of this entire place is the workers at Sim. Oh my gosh. I couldn't even explain how cool they are. Yeah. And the things that you don't notice, like, you commit to a school, you see all the fluff and, like, all the cool stuff. But, bro, you dive into time at A&M, like, I'm going behind the counter to dap up the people working because, like, they are just the greatest. They come to the track meets, they come to the sporting events. It's like they're having birthdays for each other. And I'm like, this is why it is so special, because these people are so excited to get here every day, and you can feel it.
It's a real love.
Real
love. And there's no, like you said, there's really no fluff when it comes to this place. So
it's so dope. Yeah.
Henry, what have been some of your, well, we won't take too much longer of your time, but we're actually all about to go to the lake together. So we're going to have all the time in the world.
We'll continue this through the weekend.
Continue the podcast.
We'll just keep the video rolling.
But what have been some of your highlights in your time here? And I mean, you can take that however you want, whether that be basketball or outside of it. But
that's a good question.
I think I hit some sporting events first. I got.
That's also, you've been great at that.
I got 3
great going to sporting events.
So I think the first for me, outside, this is non-basketball, I think the first for me is that Oregon game, that baseball game. I was in left field, and I've been to some baseball games, been to some pro ones. That was one of the most electric environments I have ever seen. And I think, it being baseball and it being that electric, you almost feel like you're at a football game, or
that's crazy.
The atmosphere about it, and how, like, the crowd was going, being down, and how, how those guys
ending was
played,
insane too,
and how, hitting a grand slam and doing that, and then just being in left field with a bunch of other Aggies. Like, we didn't get any special seats. I couldn't even find seats. I was like, guys, we got to get there early. We got to set up a tent. We got to bring a Yeti. We got to do all this stuff. I was like, and so it was just like the whole atmosphere and what we did. And I think, credit to, the team, and, they got a big one coming up tonight. And so hopefully they'll handle that. They're on the road, at Arkansas, they'll get it done. And I think second.
That's a good place to play.
Oh, great place.
That's a crazy place.
I think second's got to be that football game against Alabama when we were here.
Oh, like freshman year, sophomore year.
Guys,
sophomore year.
Guys,
I mean,
guys.
just an unreal.
Oh my gosh,
I kid
crazy.
you not. Soccer season's obviously in football season. You now
That was so
cannot have an understanding for soccer differently than you probably did before.
I do know.
Can't do anything. Football season is really a no unless it's like 1 or 2 games.
Please tell me you went though.
No.
Oh.
We weren't allowed to go that game.
Oh.
I'm sitting at my house in the historic district babysitting my niece. She was a baby because my whole family was at the game.
Oh my
Guys,
gosh.
that's the most FOMO of.
You can hear the stadium.
You could
I
probably
could
hear.
hear-
You could hear every
Guys,
touchdown.
I'm right down the
you
street.
could hear the
I could hear everything.
Yeah.
And I will never forget that was one of the, not the first time, that was one of the biggest moments within myself that I was like, should I quit? I was like, should I be done?
Should I quit
be-
right this second
should I
and
be
go
done?
to the game?
But that seriously, I'll never forget the sound of the stadium from all the way down the street.
Oh my god.
The most FOMO I've experienced in my college.
I mean,
yeah.
I was
That
sitting there
crazy.
when that kick went up. I was like, "Oh my God, we're gonna win!
We're gonna win, bro.
And what's even crazy, I rewatched it all the time. I get bored, and so I rewatch
I gotta
college
rewatch
football
that.
games.
We gotta rewatch
like
that
when, like
tonight,
especially during the summer when there's like nothing on. I just rewatch college football games. I always like when I rewatch it, I was like, that kick was almost close to not going in. A lot of people don't understand. But when I was at the game, I swear it was right down the middle, and it was like. It was perfect.
It was made for the upright.
Yeah, it was
created to be.
I mean, that ball, it went.
Bro.
I was sitting there just like.
It wiggled a little bit.
I was like, wow. But that game, I mean, that was like A&M experience. Like you want to be at.
I was at both LSU games though. I was at the
overtime one.
I was
That's
at the
one I
overtime.
had FOMO
I rushed the field.
Sure.
I rushed the
pretty
field
good.
at that game. I was in high school.
I literally had bought CDG Converse. And I had I'm like, what am I doing? I'm a sophomore. I had no money. I just bought CDG Converse. I'm like, I'm going to wear it to the game. I swear, I put them on. I'm like, I'm like, okay, don't want to mess these up. And I'm like, we're not going to win. I don't need to worry about messing them up. And then we win because I'm thinking rushing the field because we were right there. And all my friends were like, yeah, we're going to rush if we win because we were up by like 2 touchdowns. And I look at my shoes. I'm like, oh, God.
Wait, which LSU game are you talking about?
Nah, this is the Alabama game. And I'm in these shoes, and I rushed the field, destroyed them. I mean, like, it's all good.
Well, then we rushed it again when we played LSU.
Yeah.
My senior year, y'all's junior year.
Yeah.
Which one?
Mm-hmm. When we beat LSU.
At home?
Mm-hmm.
It was at Jane Daniels. Who's the quarterback? Jane Daniels?
I don't remember.
I think, yeah, we rushed the field, though, because I was only there because I was.
Jaden.
It was after I was hurt.
I think.
I don't remember.
It was Jaden Daniels.
It was
Jane Daniels. That's what I thought.
You're right. Okay. I didn't remember because I guess he wasn't Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, he wasn't Jane Daniels yet. I mean, he was unbelievable
cold.
quarterback.
Yeah,
though.
I don't think it was Heisman Jaden Daniels.
Okay, wait, but that was only number 2.
I'm literally sitting here and trying to think 3.
What did you go watch a lot of this year, Henry?
Soccer.
Oh.
Let's say soccer.
You just are saying that.
Yeah,
Just in case Mia's watching.
Yeah, Mia, it's soccer.
Shout out, hi Mia.
It's soccer.
Nice.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll go
Finally.
with soccer.
Dude, the track meets, bro.
You know, I never. So what always used to like during that time where y'all used to do the outdoor stuff. I was either always like leaving because it was like right after our season, or like so a lot of us for us like that month of May and like where a lot of us are gone.
Yeah.
And so I think actually on my visit, my mom went to one because she just loves track, and
Nice.
so I think she went to one. And it's too hard to get to an indoor.
Was your mom an athlete at UVA?
No, she was not.
Oh, okay.
She was not.
And your dad played what position?
Defensive end.
DN?
Yeah,
Is
DN.
he tall like you?
Yeah, he's about 6'3".
Did you play football for a little minute?
No, I've never touched a football a day in my
Really?
life. I played baseball for a while.
Played basketball too early to play football? Like
No, I actually played baseball for a while.
Really?
And then
So you are a baseball fan?
Yeah, I love. Yeah.
Okay.
Especially I mean MLB. I don't watch it until I watch it on July 4th. I watch opening day, July 4th, all the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But like yesterday, I was watching UVA and Liberty.
Just
baseball.
Interesting. I gotta be
Nice.
at an A&M baseball game to watch baseball.
Yeah, I feel that feeling.
I can't be.
Some people, like some of my roommates, they're just like, I could
I don't
watch
have
something
the
else.
patience to sit through a whole
No,
game.
it's gotta be more of an experience at Bluebell.
Like the game, like when they played Oregon,
Yeah.
if I was at that game, that would have been my cup of tea for baseball.
Oh my gosh, it was.
Richard, don't hate me.
I've never
for
seen a
saying
baseball game like that.
When was
ever.
that? I don't even remember.
Last May.
Yeah.
Just a crazy one.
Was it May or June?
It might have been June because it was June because I think
June.
this was when I had my surgery.
Because they went straight to Omaha right after.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't remember.
It was like to
this.
go to Omaha.
Yeah, it was literally to get to Omaha.
Dude, he's like Jamie on the Joe Rogan show.
Who? Cade?
Like, Jamie, could you check on that?
Yeah.
Thanks, Jamie.
Okay, so those are your favorite memories here.
Yeah.
And what do you think as you enter this next phase of your life? What have been some of like the biggest lessons that you've learned that you really want to carry into this?
I think the first is, and it's crazy we've mentioned it, but be where your feet are. Because I think as athletes for so long, we've always chased something, and it's always been like, oh, we got practice tomorrow. Or we have this tomorrow. You know, I got to go to Slocum check-in. You know, it's like we're always
Checking the list off.
You know, so it's always like you got to do something. And so I think when you get into kind of like the real world, like you got to be where your feet are.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you have to enjoy the moments a little bit more.
Especially like you said earlier, what you've learned is times you wish I'm right there with you. Times I wish I could go back and just tell myself, grab my shoulders and be like, bro.
Yeah, pause for a second.
But you got to carry that.
Yeah.
But you'll have new freedoms.
Don't be
too,
sad
bro.
that it's over. Be happy it happened.
Yeah.
Nice.
I
Did you make
agree.
that up?
My mom says that to me all the time.
That's good.
Yeah.
But it's true, bro. You know, I think you can learn a lot looking backwards. You did a very good job. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, I'm excited for it.
And ideal career path. Let's just say you could snap your fingers and have your dream job right now. What would it be?
Commissioner of the SEC.
Greg
Okay,
Sankey?
yeah, I was gonna say.
Commissioner Sankey is an unbelievable person.
Oh, he's so cool.
He is.
He's so
He's the
cool.
most powerful man in sports right now.
Dude,
and
He's so cool.
He's a beast.
Yeah, and
Henry.
so he's
Hearing
got a
him
great
speak
head.
and stuff,
Yeah.
You have full capability to.
go do it, bro. You've reached the top in everything you've done so far.
Yeah.
What on earth would make you not do the same?
Yeah, I'm excited
Easy
for it.
money, bro.
And obviously, it's not as easy as snapping your fingers.
right.
A process to get there, and you will tackle that process.
Yeah.
You have all the intangibles to be able to go do it. Fortunately, this place has taught you a lot of it, but also just who you are. So you will be so successful.
We're excited to
So
see it, bro.
Yeah. And make sure you bring your A games to the lake this weekend. We have we go tubing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So be prepared.
Okay.
Luckily,
I'm
there's not a
excited.
basketball goal where I dunk on you this weekend, bro.
Or you dunk on him. Yeah, because that makes so much sense.
Yeah, no, I'm down.
Okay, Henry, we do have one more question we ask everybody. If you could put your journey, your experience here, just your whole journey, your life, whatever, what would your tagline, your quote, whatever be that you could tie everything together with?
I'm interested.
With a pretty little bow.
Mm-hmm.
That's a great question. I cannot lie.
We look forward to it.
But we do put people on the spot.
We should have made people write these down
We should have done that.
on a basketball.
Why a basketball?
I don't know. Just be easy to write on
Okay.
if we could go back.
It's a quote. I was in 9th grade, and it stuck with me. Like Henry David Thoreau, to be great is to be misunderstood, in the sense that like how you've lived your life, not many people will ever understand it, the good, the bad, and so I think to be great is to be misunderstood.
That's
Henry
really
David Thoreau.
good.
That's a
Henry,
That's a
thanks for ending this
Jeez.
thing on a
to be great is to
Really?
be misunderstood.
Who
I love
said
it, bro.
that?
Henry David Thoreau.
No wonder, Henry.
Yeah.
Henry Coleman III.
Yeah.
Henry Coleman Thoreau.
Thoreau.
The Thoreau.
It is similar to what you said too. Live something that raises questions.
Live a life that begs a question. I love
Similar.
that.
I mean, it's true. If you're doing all this stuff and people are wondering how or they don't quite understand it, it's probably not
I
bad.
think that's one of the, if you can live your life every single day that has people wondering what makes you different, I think you're living a very successful life.
Yeah, you'll be misunderstood. And
I love
in
that.
the right sense, though. Like, like, why did he go about this and this? Why does she do this that
like
way?
in a pondering.
Yeah, it's like, why, like, how do you get to this
How did you do
position?
this?
And then you try to when you try to explain it, it tends to not make sense because a lot of people aren't willing to do the steps and learn and be a lifelong learner. A lot of people get to like a certain point and they tend to just stop because they just feel like, they've accomplished something. But
you should be a sponge forever.
They just spenge of knowledge. That's what I
If
would
you ever
do.
stop learning, you're cooked.
Yeah.
You're done.
And it's that you've said this before that stuck with me too, and I feel like Henry would agree. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah, it's easy for me to be the not smartest person in the room, so it's good.
Yeah, like this one right
now.
here.
Yeah, I'm on the podium. I'm on the podium.
Like this one right here, Carter.
All right, so live a life. Wait, say it one more time.
To be great is to be
misunderstood.
misunderstood.
To be great is to be misunderstood.
To be great is to be misunderstood.
Way to wrap it up.
Yeah, should we get that tattooed on our forehead?
Yeah. Yeah. Great.
You'll definitely be misunderstood there.
Mission accomplished.
Yeah.
Henry.
This was good. We'll continue throughout the weekend.
Yeah, we will. We have a lot more chats on the way. But seriously, you should be very proud of yourself and everything that you've done.
Thank you.
Obviously, you did incredible things performance-wise, but you really did leave a legacy here as in everything that you did. Like really. And it's very easy to like throw that out, but I think every athlete deserves to have like left a stamp here, and you did that in your own way, and you should be very proud of how you carried yourself, the things that you did, where you invested your time, but also how you treated people, because I don't think there'd be a single person that also doesn't feel a lot of the care that you give when you walk into a room. So
thank y'all.
Yes, and best of luck to you in your future endeavors. You will be great. And really happy that this was the last.
This was a good one.
Oh, so this is a good episode.
Yeah.
This be good.
Bro. I appreciate you.
Great episode.
Thank y'all,
and let me give a little thanks to the people.
Thanks, people.
Thanks, people. Guys, thanks to everyone who's tuned in for the last. This podcast has been around for 2 years. Carter's going to continue.
Yes.
Continue hosting. Continue being the CB ski bean over there. But this has been seriously the greatest experience. This podcast specifically, I've absolutely loved because I hope that people have been able, I'm like using this as a microphone. I hope that people have been able to learn a lot of things that they maybe didn't recognize student athletes went through or experienced in their time as a collegiate athlete. So anyways, very thankful for you guys for the support, the love, sometimes the critiques.
Really?
Oh, at the beginning, I got a few of those. Nice. But very grateful for all of you guys. And yeah, this has been a great episode. Henry, thanks for helping make the last one the best one.
Awesome.
You were wonderful.
Thanks.
We will miss you.
Thanks. I'll miss you guys. Maybe we should just put my face up.
Yeah.
Behind the number, and it's just my face.
She's always watching.
Yeah, she's always watching. Okay. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of Behind the Number. Carter will see you on the next one. Me and Henry, we're out. Bye, guys.